Hello and welcome everybody to part 2 of game 2 of LiquidTLO versus Grubby. When last I left you guys, Grubby was holding that Xel'Naga watchtower, but it looks like he has finally decided to commit to attack. He is now moving in. SCV's being pulled off the line to repair the bunkers. Vikings coming in trying to snipe off that Colossus. Only one Colossus on the field right now for Grubby, and it looks like Grubby does not feel confident about this push at all, and he is going to be pulling back there. The defenses of TLO right now are just a bit too strong, so Grubby is pulling back to that Xel'Naga watchtower, securing the middle of the map, making sure he has a lot of map control. He has just now taken his third, is getting his third saturated, and I'm actually surprised that neither player has gone for their gold expansion. In the meantime, looks like Grubby did manage to get a warp in there on the high ground with this pylon, and wasn't able to deal too much damage. This missile turret was well placed by TLO, made sure that observer that was here earlier scouting this third base did get taken out. Interesting placement though for a missile turret. I've never ever before seen a missile turret be placed there. So many observers currently out on the field right now. DT's just now moving across the map for Grubby. Looks like he's trying to sneak in there, but there are just too many forces right now for TLO out on the field. I'm actually curious about the workers killed count. Grubby actually has 18 workers killed. I think that pullback, you know what, I'm actually going to go back. I'm curious, I gotta say. Sorry guys, I have to say I am curious about exactly what just happened at this top expansion. We're going to speed this up just a little bit, and looks like it was just one zealot. One zealot moved up and was able to get a few worker kills there. And man, that's not the bulk of his damage. I don't know where those workers come from. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch this, and maybe I'll throw in an annotation there to confirm where those workers killed were. But Grubby's pushing at the front, and more zealots are being warped into the top here. Yeah, looks like more zealots are being warped in there to try to deal some damage in that natural, forcing the forces of TLO back. But it looks like Grubby has decided not to commit to this attack at the front and is now pulling back. +3 attack upgrade and +2 armor upgrades now coming up for the bio forces of TLO. Looks like TLO's forces were finally forced to pull back, are now taking out, finishing off these zealots, and that is what we were seeing there at the end. We were just seeing those zealots getting cleaned up there from TLO. Sorry I missed that, guys. I don't know how I missed that. I just can't be watching that mini-map all the time. I get a little bit too wrapped up in them big battles. Now, in the base of TLO, looks like we can still see that he's going for a fairly heavy barracks count. He's got 5 barracks up right now, 2 with reactor, 2 with tech lab, and 2 starports still up. Second starport still no add-on yet. I would trust TLO to know better than I what exactly he can support on 3 base. It's always an interesting move though. This is something that we're starting to see much more commonly among those Terran players, is that instead of getting add-ons early, they'll get a lot of production structures up early, and as they expand, they will start to then throw on reactors and tech labs and whatever other production that they need to instantly either double their production if they're getting a reactor, or move up to those higher tech units and stick with low tech units in the early game, and then as they expand, throw down those reactors and those tech labs and start to go for those higher tech units. So this could be what TLO is doing. As TLO takes more expansions, he may actually throw down more add-ons on this factory and on this starport. Ghosts now moving out onto the field now for TLO. Always a good move in those Protoss TVP matches, just because those Ghost EMPs can deal so much damage to these ground forces of Grubby, just because those EMPs will take out a lot of the shields of those forces, basically instantly bringing down a lot of forces to half health. TLO now moving across the map with a lot of forces here. Big few DTs there trying to deal some damage to the armies there, but TLO of course has those scans, able to take them out. Few ghosts now moving across the field, and one nuke is now ready and prepped to deal some massive amounts of damage here. DT's up ahead of the army, and one nuke now going down for TLO. Interesting nuke placement there. He was not able to bait his forces into that nuke, and he's leaving his forces there. He needs to get his forces out of there, or he's about to nuke his own forces, and the nuke lands and actually takes out a Dark Templar there. So nice play by TLO. Didn't even know it was there, but was able to take it out, and a lot of forces from Grubby moving in right now. Nice EMP goes down, takes out a lot of the shields of all of these zealots, a lot of the stalkers, but there are just so many forces here for Grubby. TLO now just being forced to pull back. Looks like he is now going to move all the way around the back and just be dropping in the natural. Very nice little pickup there by TLO. I don't know how much damage he's going to be able to deal with this, but Grubby's forces now forced to run all the way around. Vikings kept here in the back to scout, and it looks like TLO is now going to be just picking up and moving off as far as he can. Psystorm's going down now, and as well as feedbacks on those medevacs, a lot of forces being taken out. TLO losing a lot of forces actually to the forces. In the meantime, drop in the main of Grubby, and TLO doing massive amounts of damage with these Marauders that are now moving in. Nexus goes down, a lot of workers being taken out. If we check out the workers kill count, 18 workers killed now for TLO, and all the forces of Grubby now still out in the middle of the map, not able to come back and deal the damage. Looks like Grubby, yes, finally deciding that he needs to pull back and defend against all these Marauders, because these Marauders have now destroyed the pylons, taking out the forces, powering all of the warp gates of Grubby, and now Grubby is in a terrible position. Lost a lot of pylons there, supply blocked at 149 food, unable to produce. TLO also at an identical 149 food, but he is in such a good place right now. He is now going to be macroing up like crazy. Grubby's now going to have to sit back. Either he's going to need to push out and try to deal a lot of damage with his ground forces right now, or he's going to have to sit back, get his pylons back up, try to reestablish this nexus. But no, TLO dropping again with all his forces, all the forces of Grubby now being forced to pull back. These Marauders dealing so much damage. Such a nice drop here by TLO. Looks like he's getting a lot of the production structures here of Grubby. Nice unit positioning there by TLO. He's placing all his Marauders in this tiny little crevice so that these Zealots won't be able to get a full surround. And all the forces of Grubby now moving back to defend against this drop. Very, very nice play there by TLO, able to deal some damage. Looks like that will be able to get him back into the field. DT is still moving across the map board. Grubby trying to deal some damage there, but TLO is just so good with saving up just enough energy for his scans. Notice that his command centers are not at full energy. He's leaving a good amount of energy on them for those scans because he knows his opponent has a lot of DTs and is doing a lot of DT play. So he's saving up some scans, but he's never maxing out on his energy on his command centers. You never want to be at maximum energy on those command centers. And the forces of Grubby now finally getting a chance to move out. Very nice EMPs there going down for TLO. Instantly, a lot of the shields of Grubby are gone. All the Archons just disintegrating under the forces of TLO right now. Dark Templar getting taken down from those scans. Nice spot there by TLO. TLO now pushing forward with so many forces. Marauders now moving in. These are three Marauders. So many upgrades now. And these Marauders now trying to kite these Zealots as best as they can. Trying to push in. Dealing as much damage as they can. A little bit of a pickup there for TLO that I don't think he meant to do. But so many forces now moving in. These Stalkers are only 2-0 in upgrades. No upgrades there for TLO yet. Grubby has now taken a gold expansion. Is TLO? Yes, TLO is aware of this expansion. But TLO's in such a good spot right now from that one drop. These warp gates just now being brought back online, trying to macro up more forces. Tons of warp gates. Holy cow. Holy warp gate Batman. That is 15 warp gates currently out on the field right now. And this is going to mean that Grubby is going to be macroing up a storm. Grubby actually taking the lead in the food count, 146 to 140. Is TLO going to be able to deal with this? TLO controlling the center of the map right now, but Grubby moving out with a ton of forces. No more ghosts out right now for TLO. He does not have any more ghosts. This means that he will not be able to place down those EMPs, but with all these 3-3 Marine Marauders, he's going to be able to deal lots of damage. Lots of damage is going to be able to go down here. Now in the base of TLO, looks like TLO is now throwing down a barracks, and as I thought earlier, the starport has now added on a tech lab. I'm not sure what exactly he is going to be going for here with this tech lab starport. I'm assuming he might get it for a Raven. A Raven might be wise at this point, given the fact that his opponent is going for such heavy Dark Templar play. Trying to go for a little bit more drop play here from TLO. Those drops did deal a lot of damage before, but it looks like he's going to be sticking right now with a lot more bio. TLO starting to kind of falter a little bit in his macro. Not quite at the army count. If we check out the army tab right now, it looks like TLO actually is... Well, it's tough to say. They're about even right now, because if we check out that army tab, we can see that TLO's army is much more mineral heavy, while Grubby's army is much more gas heavy. This means that Grubby's army is a little bit more tech based, where TLO is going to be going for a little bit more of a brute force style army. Grubby now taking his 5th base. TLO has been sitting on 4 bases for a while, has not yet taken this gold expansion, needs to be taking that gold expansion very soon. Nice EMP there, goes down by that ghost up ahead of the army. 1 nuke available for TLO. I'm not sure what he's going to be using that nuke for, but I am certainly excited to find out. Looks like Grubby has decided to just pull back. He's got a lot of zealots out on the field right now, is focusing mainly on attack upgrades. I think if he's going to want to be able to deal with these forces of TLO, he's going to really need to be getting those armor upgrades, just because those EMPs are going to be taking out the shields of Grubby. This means that armor is going to be very, very important once those shields go down. And TLO now with the stim coming in, lots of ghosts in this mix, EMPs going down all over the field. Grubby with some very nice blinks there as he tried to blink out of those EMPs. This is so many forces here from TLO, though. Yes, indeed, that Raven is now moving across the field, preventing any DTs from doing any more damage, and the forces of TLO just overwhelming the forces of Grubby with all those nice EMPs. Nuclear strike going down on the warp gates. Grubby's going to lose a lot of warp gates there. Nice Psystorm there on all the forces of Grubby, but it looks like a lot of damage here being dealt to this gold expansion for TLO, and yes, here comes the nuke. Nuke lands on all of those warp gates. This means that they are all going to be unpowered now. TLO now moving into the gold expansion of Grubby. In the meanwhile, he is, there was a bit of a drop here. Warping from this warp prism here, dealing a lot of damage here to TLO, but TLO macroing like a beast, has so many Marine Marauder in his main there to defend against that attack. In the meantime, he's now moving and taking out a lot of gateways going down, snipes going down on all the zealots of Grubby, and now the forces of TLO moving in. Lots of forces being warped in here, but more EMPs going down for TLO, dealing a lot of damage to those zealots. This Colossus actually dealing a lot of damage right now, but it looks like TLO is confidently moving in, dealing a lot of damage to the forces of Grubby, and the forces of Grubby are just falling apart here. Grubby just falling apart, losing a lot of his tech structures. Still got a lot of bases, but just does not have the production necessary. Does not have as many gateways up anymore, down to just 8 gateways, or 9 gateways right now. And is now pulling all the probes off the line. More forces now coming in for TLO. Lots and lots of forces. And Grubby GG's out of Game 2. This means that TLO has taken Game 2. This means we are currently 1-1 in this best of 7. And this means that we're going to be going into Game 3 right now.